Welcome to my video tutorial on commissioning the Siemens Centron Powercenter 3000 starter kit, including pack 2200 meters and 24-volt DC power supply. In this tutorial, I will guide you through the necessary steps of successfully commissioning all these components. Of course, if you are working with electrical stuff, please always prioritize your safety and follow the safety instructions provided in the device manuals. For installation of pack 2200 meters, additional current transformers are required, which are not included in the starter kit. These must fit to the rated current of your application and ordered separately. Additional to the current transformers, the voltage inputs of pack 2200 meters must be connected and are required for powering the device and voltage measurement. Powercenter 3000 requires 24-volt DC, where the local power supply is used for. Here is some additional information about the devices with network interfaces. Powercenter 3000. 2 independent ports. Note, this is not a switch, and it's important to use the correct port for the initial connection. Also, you can see the connector for 24-volt DC power supply and additional ports for USB and DisplayPort. These ports are without function and not relevant for our application. Pack 2200. 1 single port for direct connection. A general requirement is a network infrastructure where all the devices are connected. Additionally, it's important to have an NTP server available within this network infrastructure for time synchronization. If NTP server is reachable on different network, it can be connected via external network port of Powercenter 3000. If the NTP server is reachable on the same network where your meters are connected, a simpler network infrastructure is possible where only the internal interface of Powercenter 3000 is used. In this tutorial, I will use an application setup like this. If the network infrastructure is ready and all devices are connected and powered, we can start commissioning by connecting a notebook with Windows operating system to the network. Please ensure that the connection to Powercenter 3000 is done via internal port. A connection via external port will not work by default. For preparing, it must also be clear which network address fit your network. In this tutorial, I use these addresses, which you can take as an example. Now let's start commissioning by using your notebook and the software Powerconfig, which you can download free of charge in Siemens support portal. On my system, Powerconfig is already installed and started. Search your network to find connected devices. If you have more than one network interface in your system, please check to select the correct interface and then press Start Search. All available devices in your network will now be shown, and you can set an IP address by unlock the IP settings and enter some IP addresses. I will add all devices like shown in my example. Finally, load these settings to your devices. If the communication settings are transferred successfully, load the pack meters to your Powerconfig project by selecting all meters and uploading the configuration. Then let's have a look to the basic settings of pack meters. Minimum configuration for all of them would be to set the correct ratio for current transformers. The primary current in my application will be 100 amps and secondary 5 amps. The second important thing is the time synchronization. We have to define an SNTP mode and let's say synchronization by device request and set here the address of the NTP server. If you have your own NTP server, you can take this server or in combination with Powercenter 3000, set the IP address of Powercenter 3000 here. And of course, set your correct time zone. Finally, load these settings to your device and repeat this for all meters. For Powercenter 3000 configuration, I directly open the web server of the device by enter the IP address in a web browser. First thing which I recommend to check is Settings, Actions and Firmware version. If a newer firmware version is available in Siemens support portal, please download and update it by choose File. Second setting is General, scrolling nearly to the end, and see NTP server address. If a local NTP server is available, enter the IP address of this server here. Finally, we will check if NTP server synchronization is working. For this, come to Powercenter 3000 status and see the detailed NTP server synchronization in sync. Maybe this will take a few minutes. Now let's add pack meters to Powercenter. Coming to these three dots, scan network and choose the interface where the meters are connected. Powercenter will scan the network and display all available meters. Add each to your project by clicking on it and say Add to Project. Repeat this for all meters. Until the editing mode is active, you can click on a meter and edit connection information and also name. Just set a name for each meter of your choice. If all settings are done, we can close editing mode. Selecting one device in device 3 will show you the device view with an overview of several widgets and device information. This can be customized by open widget library and add, for example, an archive chart. This archive chart can be customized by edit and select a value of your choice. Then see all archive data. The archive data can also be exported manually or automatically by email or SFTP upload. Of course, Powercenter supports also an alarming, which allows you to create customized alarms depending on the values you need. An additional function you find in Settings, Cloud, MQTT. Here you can configure to connect Powercenter 3000 to an MQTT broker and publish several data to it. Coming to Actions, also an import for third-party devices is available where you can add several meters which are not contained in the standard of Powercenter. Let's have a look to the new view of Powercenter, which gives you a feeling for the next level of visualization. For this view, I switched on other Powercenter 3000 because this contains more historical data. I want to show you a new reports function. Coming to reports, add report, enable edit, choose the report type, save the type, and edit properties of the report. Here we can add data points. First, select the device, one data point, and may a second device. Save. Select a time range. And execute. Of course, also classic functions are available. Selecting Monitor and one of our devices, Overview. Here we will find an overview page with all detail widgets. Also this you can edit and add additional widgets and also adjust these widgets. Coming to the end of this tutorial, I want to give you some tips for troubleshooting. If Powercenter is not reachable, first check the IP settings of your network. For example, your computer's IP address must fit to the IP address of Powercenter. Maybe you can try a ping. Check if the internal connection interface from Powercenter 3000 is used. First access is not possible with the external interface. Have a look at the status LEDs of Powercenter 3000. The first two LEDs must be on and green. This is a signal from Powercenter 3000 to be ready for use. If you face some troubles by displaying the web interface of Powercenter 3000, it's mostly a problem of the cache of your browser. First step would be just do a refresh by pressing F5 key. Also possible would be to start an incognito mode in your browser and open the website of device again. Hopefully this tutorial has provided you with a clear understanding of the first commissioning process and helped to complete it successfully. Thanks for watching.